For the session 3 on global opportunities for Indian startups, I request Mr. Vinay Krishnan to take over.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished speakers, it is both an honor and privilege to welcome the speakers for this session. We have with us Dr. A.P. Achar, CEO, Atal Incubation Center, NITE, and Dean of Corporate Program at Justice K.S. Hegde Institute of Management, NITE. With 30 years of experience in teaching, training, consulting, and research in management field, he has coordinated, conducted entrepreneurship development programs and executive education programs for small and medium enterprises, as well as some large organizations across India. A warm welcome to you, sir. Our second speaker of the session is Dr. Manish Thomas, CEO of Manipal, Government of Karnataka Bio Incubator, supported by KITS Department of ITBT, Government of Karnataka, DBT, Bairak and Manipal Academy of Higher Education, with specialization in microbiological and agricultural applications. Sir has been conducting outreach activities and public awareness in promotion of startups. A warm welcome to you, sir. I request both of you to come to the dais. A round of applause, please. The session will be on global opportunities for Indian startups. Over to you, sir.
So first of all, I would like to extend my thanks for this opportunity to come and interact with young entrepreneurs, innovators, bankers, and students. So next, we are in between the lunch and so the time is limited. So within 10-15 minutes, we will try to conclude our sessions. Don't worry. So in next 10-15 minutes, we will take you through the global opportunities for the startups, MSMEs, who are into little bit advanced stage or who are leading in the technology business. So in this, I like to mention two programs emerging. One is the Global Bio India, which is going to happen at Bangalore. So it is a good networking opportunity for tech-based entrepreneurs, and the Bangalore Tech Summit also upcoming on 29th November to 1st of December. So these two programs will be also helpful in connecting with you with the global platforms. Next slide. So next 10 minutes, I will take you through why you require to go global. Then what is the readiness of Indian startups, especially in the Karnataka clusters. Then how to go global, what are the schemes and the promotions available for the startups, technology service, then non-technological, then top 10 destination, what are the supports available globally, then foreign government supports, then innovation scouting programs of various prominent nationals, then what you need, what is the readiness a startup need to have to go global, and about the local Mangalore cluster, Mangalore Udupi cluster of incubators, and about a little bit about Bio Incubator. Next slide. So, as majority of our startups are working on deep techs, like first generation or second generation of industry, they are working on classical industry. Like for example, if you look into the Udupi Mangalore cluster, majority of them are working in either in fisheries or into metal or into plastic processing or food processing. So you cannot see any of such innovators here. So majority of them are looking into deep tech. So the opportunity what they are looking is into global, because the technology or the competency what they have is having a global opportunity. So a startup first need to establish a footprint in a national, then need to be recognized, need to be sufficient revenue generation, need to have good technology platforms, good technology products, or technology process or technology services in their hand, then they have to look forward to the, that is the clear path. The global opportunities always come at the end. So if a startup is already succeeded or near to success in a national platform, they can look into for the market diversification, scalability by exploring the global opportunity, access to the large customers, then again the global competitive advantages you are going to get, then innovations and technology. For example, so many of these are governed by the IPs, intellectual properties and technologies. So if your technology is prominent or superior to the existing technologies globally, you are having the innovations and global opportunities. Then if you want to get more investment, for example, investment in Indian system is always like a poverty. So if you want to have a big investments and your dreams are beyond a base technology, then you can look into the global, then reduce the risk and looking for the global talents. Next slide. Then again, branding, global branding, if you are looking into, then partnerships, especially you want to work with international brands in collaborations or into facilities or manufacturing, then that time you can look into global. Then if your product is having very promising technologies for the Indian market, and if you want to explore by adding some sort of augmentation into your technology or into your patent, that time you can look into the product validation for the global platform. Then acquisition opportunities are there. If you are in a technology spin-off concept, technology spin-off concepts means if your technology want to, if you're a continuous technopreneur, it's an entrepreneur who is interested in developing new technologies and selling that technologies and coming back to the research and development and coming. So that time also you can look into global opportunities. Then if you are especially working on the regulated sectors like biopharma, biomedical, medtech, or biotechnology. So if you want to check with global opportunities like diversification of markets, diversification of the regulatory concept, especially in the biomedical devices or software as a medical devices or software as a services. So that time you can look into the global opportunities. Then the geopolitical and stability, for example, many of the times the emerging technology has been already launched in the market like nanotechnology or regenerative medicine, stem cell therapies, but the policies from the government is not ready. That time also you can look into the global opportunities. Next slide. So how good is an Indian startups, or what is the readiness level of Indian startups for the global platforms? So we are associated with many global scouting or recruiting incubators or accelerator programs. The majority of the concept what the global platforms are saying is the Indians are mainly focusing on the frugal innovations. Their business focus or their technology focus is either in a local platform or a state level platform or a national platform. They are not beyond that stage. So if your innovation is backed by the patents which is owned ownership in India as well as the targeted countries, if your readiness is there, otherwise, majority of the Indian innovators, some of them is already copying from the technologies either from US or from the European Union or Japan, or such cases, it will not work. So we should have a ready innovation, ready technology, ready patent, and that time we can look into. Then market validation we need to do, whether our technology, our services and our process is ready to occupy in this particular market. Is there regulatory stuff is there, statutory clearance is there, legal clearances is there, that all sort of market review we have to do. The scalability in that approaching market we have to look into. Then availability of funds and capital. For example, if it is a capital intensive product development, that time we have to look into the funds availability. Then looking for the global mindset, especially when a startup is looking, their primary focus is on profit making. Other than that, whether a genuine startup which is looking for the global opportunity is the problem solver. They have to look into the problems in that particular geographical area they want to expand. They have to look into whether this problem which I am solving through my startup is clearly there, and whether I am capable of doing that one. So global mindset, especially on the problem solving aspect, we have to look in. Then legal, regulatory and brand building. Next slide, please. So again, if you look into many of the innovative products, our startups, we say unicorns or other things, which cannot be succeeded in many other countries because it may be due to various cultural issues or legal issues or ethical issues that may not be succeeded in such place, or the market practices or the customer requirements may be differ in different countries. Then again, global partnerships is always needed if you are looking for a global. Before we are pitching, we have to get connected with, for example, if you're looking for the European Union or US market, we should connect with some of the programs, accelerator or incubator, or some of the investors who you have to look into a pre-market survey whether my products is fitting to the global, and somebody should be there to handhold that sort of product development. Then again, the team building for the international is different. For example, if you are looking into non-English speaking countries like Japan, Korea, or German or Netherlands, such times many of our regional startups gone there and they are facing the issue of the language and other requirements for the local talent pool acquisition. Then risk management and market entry strategy should be very clear. When should enter and where should enter, and when should we exit from that particular market by acquisition and exit. Next slide, please. So two opportunities in the global market we can see. One is exporting of the services of product, process and services which we develop in India, we can export to the global platform. Second one is we can, if our technology or our platform is very novel and we are owning the technology license or technology patents globally, we can expand into the foreign countries. So two scenario is having two different verticals. So in the first scenario, if you are expanding through our exporting, that time the foreign direct investment will come to India. We can establish a good hub inside India. We can develop the new products. We can do the R&D inside, and we can do the exports there. The main partnership, export partnership will work. Then we have to be a very clear presence in the targeted countries like e-commerce or marketplace. Then digital marketing is very essential. Then we have to be with do business with, especially with whoever is the countries which is having their trade license and other things. We have to frequently participate by giving various demo on the various platforms like trade shows or exhibitions on international or global platforms. Then we have to look into the local customer markets, and also we have to do the market research. In establishing a foreign country, there we are going there and establishing a physical hub or a physical office or a physical infrastructure and developing this product. So all the due diligence regarding the region, investment, then team building, then collaborations, partnerships, legal, regulatory, statutory, compliance, all these firms we have to look into in that perspective. Next slide, please. So first phase, if we look into the export, there are a lot of schemes is already there, which is by the government to promote, because now all these tech generations or the startup generation is coming are deep tech. They are into diverse sectors, and the government of India and the state government want to retract this pool of innovators not going outside. So they come up with a vibrant or a very liberal policy to support export, and by providing incentives, various schemes are there providing the capital subsidies, import tax frees and duty frees, and certain programs to promote ease of doing business. So a lot of incentives are there to support. These are some of the reference, and you can directly get inside these websites. Next slide, please. So if you look into the classical big industries and small industry, the startups and MSMEs work on major exporters in the tech sectors. Others is into manufacturing or into FMCG or other products. So major technology startups are exporting their tech services, especially in the IT, biotechnology, nuclear medicines, nuclear physics, and all these things. Emerging sectors, all these startups, and that is where the strength of India is. Next slide, please. So if you look into top scientific technologies which is emerging, that is a good sign for the Indian startup ecosystem. So we are into almost all clean energy, renewable energy, into health sector, into into nuclear medicines, into gene editing. All these emerging sectors, we have at least 10 to 20 startups which is coming in the inside the incubator. They are nurturing inside the incubator ecosystem, and within 10-15 years, they will be some of them will be the global leaders in the deep scientific technology startups. Next slide, please. There are other lot of MSMEs and startups which is including in non-scientific exports. So these are least scalable. So as far as they have the raw materials resources, they can do the business. But technology is always having a unlimited overpower against these non-technological startups and products and services. Next slide, please. So if you look into the startups migration trends, so top 10 destinations including the US, UK, United Arab Emirates, Singapore, Canada, then Australia, Germany, then Southeast Asia and Middle East and European countries. So there are around 67 countries is having active programs to recruit startups from India, especially deep tech startups which are working on the emerging sectors, which are solving today's problems and tomorrow's problems. They don't have any sort of first generation, second generation, or third generation industry. They are not welcoming. They are welcoming all the emerging and clean and energy sector startups into there. So what is the advantages these startups are looking from? So what they are lacking in Indian economy or Indian system is the offering from the foreign countries. If you look into the ease of doing business, single window clearance, the lot of incentives, lot of capital subsidies, lot of tax-free, lot of capital procurement, then lot of business-friendly offerings these countries are putting forward. So many of our deep tech startups are moving away from our mother India. That is one of the current scenario. Next. So if you look into who all are the players or the platforms which tech startups can enter into the global platform, there are global accelerators and global incubators associated with in almost all the states. If you go to this any of the tech platform, at least 30 to 40 different platforms will come there to market their offering and their visa programs or their platforms to make a ladder between the India and the foreign countries. Next. So there are also a lot of government is providing various subsidies and schemes and support. For example, say R&D tax credits. Then investor, for example, if the angel is investing into the startups, their tax free is there. Then personal income tax is exempted. Then capital gain tax is removed. Tax incentives, tax holidays, a lot of benefits are there, which is attracting startups, and more even the visa programs. They are coming. For example, if you look into US, Canada, there are a lot of visa programs which is allowing them to permanently settle with these sort of startups programs. Next slide. So, in addition to that, there are second level layer of programs which is doing from this technology platforms, that is the technology scouting. For example, especially in the health technology, nuclear medicines, into hydrogen, into clean energy, into EVs. There are a lot of startups who are working, a lot of startups having the fractions of patents. So they also do the technology scouting, where they used to transfer this technology from the startups to the foreign startups through the collaborations or the collaborations with various research industries. There they used to provide a lot of research and development funding, hub for the innovation. They will connect with the accelerator or incubator, and a lot of platforms are available if you are into a deep tech startups. Next slide, please. So, in order to go globally, first thing is you have to prove your technology or your science, what you are doing, and you should come up with a good technology-based product, process, or services which is backed by intellectual property, like patents. If it's a process patent or a product patent or a design patent, you should have a patent within your hands, and this patent should have a freedom to operate in the country which you are planning to intend. For example, if your country of intent is US, and if the similar patent is already existing there, you do not have any scope for doing the business out of that particular country. So you have to very clear the technology as well as license. Second one is the technology equivalent one business model you should have. So even though you have, how good is your technology, it doesn't matter if you do not have a business offering. Nothing is going to work. So adaptability to the foreign market, then markets, all these things I already mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So these all parameters you have to plan for the next step. So what is available in our cluster? So if you look into the industries happening in the Mangalore Udupi cluster, as well as the technologies started inside the various incubation hubs, we have almost around 13, 14 incubators here inside this Mangalore Udupi cluster. So if you look into, there is a wide gap. So there is no opportunity for a mother industry to handhold all these emerging technology sectors. Yeah. So that is where we are having, this is my last slide, don't worry. So one or two slides. So we have a lot of opportunities here. If you want to work on any of the deep technology, we have the platforms ready with us. And starting from fisheries to deep health, or if into food processing to defense, we have the ecosystem ready at Mangalore cluster. So what you have to look into, you have to enter into the incubation ecosystem anywhere, whichever you are founding a mentor or a financier, you can enter into there, you can start working on. There are a lot of funding starting from 3.5 lakh to 20 crores is available for you through these incubation centers. You have to just enter and start working on your innovative product or process. The main thing is you have to identify the problem definition. What you are making should be very clear. It should be a today's problems or tomorrow's problems. If you develop something out of this technology jargons like AI, ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence, it will not work now. So you have to have a problem statement in your hands, and you have to come up with a technology concept or technology idea, and you should also have a business offering. If these three components is with you, then you can clearly go ahead with the deep technology startups. Next slide, please. So in short, in Manipal, I will take 2 minutes. We have a 20,000 square feet deep tech facilities. We are working on agriculture to health tech. Various diverse sectors are there. Then a lot of funding opportunities are there. And if any of you want to get assistance in any of this one, so get connected with a lot of events we used to conduct. Around 70 plus programs every year we used to conduct. If you want to learn, which is a deep tech, especially on the deep tech sectors, you can get connected with us and always get benefited with the programs and support of the incubators. Next slide, please. So we have various platforms. Everybody can be joined as the members. So if you want to gain more and more skill, unless and until you are aware of what is happening globally, you cannot sit here in Mangalore and do innovate. If you are thinking something, there may be hundreds of startups with a similar idea is already working. So get connected to any of the incubators, and we used to conduct regional meets and regional platforms like this. So there, new technologies will be disclosed, and new platform will be open where we can continuously interact and coming up with it. So if you are interested in joining any of this learning more and more, you can connect with the website is there, bioincubator.manipal. You can just log in. There is one membership form, so we should connect you to the national and international platforms. Next one. So thank you. So this is my contact. If anybody of you want to any of the mentoring services, please let us know. Thank you.
This is the third session on startup. Today's conclave is more about MSME and startup. I think we got a high dose about startup. This is the third session about what is startup and all. So Mahesh Thomas talked about the global opportunity for startup. I will speak few minutes about the local opportunity for startups. This region, undivided Dakshina Kannada, has an ample opportunity for startups. This coastal belt has 350 kilometers of coastal line that gives ample opportunity for fishing. We have 7 rivers starting from Western Ghats joining Arabian Sea. That gives ample opportunity for agriculture and horticulture. We have a talent pool of 40,000 graduates, 15,000 engineers. What more to ask? So this region once upon a time was best known for entrepreneurs. The best known industries, like how many of you heard about Sunrise, Sunshine, Suresh Kamath, Sunrise Sala industry? When I was very young, I heard about Sunrise. Suresh Kamath is here, one of the most popular industry from this region, Bharat BDs. Many industries came, but after 2019 onwards, we could not see much of the startups coming up this region. But now there is a lot of effort made by government institutions to promote startups. Next slide, please. I'll not get into much because I was asked to close at 120. We have, 1 lakh, 10 is missing there. Every day, 10,000 startups are registered. Then by the time you close this conclave, there is 10,000 more startups that are registered. And of course, 70% of them will vanish. So the new trend is, even if you venture into a startup and you fail also, you are most respected in the corporate world. Now companies are looking for a candidate who failed as an entrepreneur. So next one. Next. A definition. Today there was a discussion about what is entrepreneurship, who is a businessman, who is a self-employed person. I contradict all of them. There is nothing like self-employment, nothing like businessman, nothing like entrepreneurship. Today we talk about startup. We're in Amrit Kal today. Next 25 years we talk only about startups. Will not 75 years we talk about entrepreneurship. Nothing happened. From 2014 onwards, we're talking about startup. In 2014, there are only 450 startups. Today, we have 1 lakh plus startups. And a lot of our Indian startups are going global. Baiju, is a global player. He got 20 rounds of funding from foreign investors, not from Indian investors. So any entity, any legal entity which is doing a business of innovative business and which is having a turnover of less than 100 crore is called a startup. To be called as a startup, it must be a legal entity. A sole trading concern is not called startup. If it is registered either as a partnership or as a private limited. And second is, this enterprise shall have an innovative business. If you're doing the same business of existing business, that is not called a startup. To get a startup recognition certificate from Government of India, they look at this element also. The third is the turnover shall not be exceed 100 crores. Next slide, please. This is a term which are using in e-com. Next. This slide I want to spend more time, and the stages of creating an enterprise is desire to be an entrepreneur. I think the SS Naik spent a lot of time on this conclave because he wanted to generate interest among the youngsters to become entrepreneurs and to become startup co-founders. The first is creating an desire, which is very, very difficult. In India, we celebrate cricketers and film actors. If I ask you who is Rishabh Shetty, all of you know. If you ask who is Suresh Kamath, I think most of you don't know. He's one of the most successful businessmen in the region. So this desire, where do you get? I think a lot of Manipal, NITE, NITK, all these incubation centers are started in this region with the main purpose of promoting desire among students to become entrepreneurs. Next is generation of idea. Ideas comes when you look at a problem and even empathy. Somebody was waiting for a taxi for 6 hours. They validate it. A lot of startup come to us. I think Thomas also feel that every day we get around 10-15 ideas. Most of them are not viable. So we need a mentors to evaluate whether idea is viable or not. Otherwise, you will be climbing a wrong mountain. I think Kenny Mendonca told about he's lost around 2 crore because ideas are not validated whether it is scalable or workable. So that is done. Then second is a prototype. It's a problem solution fit. We have a Fab Lab also. If you want to create a prototype about look like a product before getting into market, you have to do that. Then creating a legal entity. If don't create a legal entity first, a lot of people I see they create legal entity first and then look for a product. So creating legal entity is also now very simple. Within 10 days, 15 days you can create. Earlier it was to require around years together to, 1 year to create it. Then for commercialization, then for growth. So this is what I wanted to highlight, and the lot of support system. Next slide is available now. We have incubators, we have angel fund investors, we have seed fund available. One of the very, very important development happened after 2021 is Government of India started a seed fund scheme with a corpus of 20,000 crores, which is given through incubators like Manipal and us. And we have already got a 5 crore funding, and Thomas got, I think, around 10 crore now, seed fund. So that will be given to eligible startups. So he gives more of a deep tech. We gives more of the non-tech enterprises. So the money is not a problem, and the business fail not because of money, not because of branding, not because of marketing. I contradict Kani Mendoza. It's only because of the founders' fashion to drive the business. Like, you know, we have Harsha, we have D-Mart, we have S-Mart, we have so many Mart, but Prakash Electrical's business is growing. In spite of having so many competitors, why Harsha's business is growing? Because they're passionate about running their business, after-sale services, and customer connect. So these are some of the co-founders' cohesiveness and their vision, their fashion plays a very, very important role in success of a startup. Money will come, marketing you can do, but getting a good co-founders and developing a zeal, the fashion of excellence for building a world-class startup is a very, very important role in success of a startup. So banks are supporting, but I don't know how many banks will support startups. We have, I think, evening we have one roundtable about scheme for startup and MSMEs. Please participate in that. Ask bankers about what support they expect. But from my experience, banks do not fund the startup. With this, I conclude because we are supposed to close at 1:30. It's already 1:30 now. So any questions, if it is required, we can take few questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to share my views on startups and various opportunities available to the young entrepreneurs like you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's an honor and a privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the session on global opportunities for Indian startups. I'd like to sincerely thank our first speaker, Dr. Manish Thomas, CEO, Manipal Government of Karnataka Bio Incubator. Sir, in your quick session, you focused on the need to go global, why to go global, and what you need to do to go global. You highlighted that Indian startups need to move from frugal innovation to real innovation in order to go global. Your insightful advice to budding entrepreneurs to focus on problem solving instead of profit making is also very welcome. Your inputs were indeed valuable. Thank you. I would also like to sincerely thank our second speaker, Dr. A.P. Achar, CEO, Atal Incubation Center, NITE. You focused on local opportunities for startups, highlighting the ample opportunity for startups in the global belt. Sir, you have reassured us that for the next 25 years, we'll be talking only about startups and highlighted the role of innovation in a startup and focused on the stages and support systems for startups. Thank you, sir. Your insights were indeed valuable.
May I now request CA Arun A.V. to kindly come on stage. We request you to hand over a memento as a token of appreciation to our esteemed resource person, Dr. A.P. Achar, CEO, Atal Incubation Center, NITE, and Dr. Manish Thomas, CEO, Manipal, Government of Karnataka Incubator Cell. And Dr. Manish Thomas, the CEO Manipal, Government of Karnataka Incubator. Thank you, Arun sir, and thank you, resource persons.